It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan with Steve Sparky Fifer.
All right, so let's get to what we're going to talk about here. And what we're going to talk about here are the injuries to the Green Bay Packers and how they are continuously piling up here. Now, we know about the Jordan Love injury. I did not hear the show yesterday, but I fear what it turned into because Love has a left thumb injury. Love has to have a procedure to fix a ligament issue or whatever in the left thumb. And it says non-throwing hand, people. Non-throwing hand. Monday on this show, Charlie and I were both talking about him having the thumb wrapped, him talking with the coaches and the training staff afterwards. So it wasn't too much of a shock, I don't think, to Charlie or me that they were decided to go fix this before the season. But that means that Jordan Love's not going to obviously play in the scrimmage tomorrow in Indianapolis or in the game this weekend or the scrimmage next week against Seattle or the game that weekend. But the expectation is he is ready for week number 1. Now, again, I left this show in the hands of 2 Bears fans, so I apologize. I really do apologize. I left both of these 2 knuckleheads in charge of the show while I was gone. Well, what was the takes of Charlie and Rami on the Jordan Love thumb procedure?
Well, the question that we asked was, is Jordan Love injury prone?
Oh, jeez.
And the answer was no from both of us. We both didn't feel like this is something that should be worried about all that much for the Packers, for Jordan Love up to this point. Now, what we did say that maybe people should be worried about, and this is something that I heard Andy Herman talk about too, is that when he comes back, like he did last year when he came back a little bit early, and it kind of led to some growing pains for him, some more injury concerns for him. Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love both said that he probably shouldn't have came back as early as he did, but because Jordan Love is such a team player, because he's such a leader, wants to be on the field in every point that he can be, what are the odds that this, not that he's injury prone, but the fact that he's not fully healed from an injury, what kind of potential could that lead to another injury? And the other thing we talked about, and this is something Andy Herman tweeted as well, was that because he's not going to be able to be under center for a couple of weeks at least with this thumb injury, it's going to change the way that this offense runs as well, because running the ball out of the shotgun is a lot harder than running it out of the direct snap. There's a lot more time in between the play and the handoff. There's a lot more time for the offensive lineman to have to get a hole open. It's not as quick hitting as directly under the center, and that could change the way that you run this offense for a couple weeks here too, which is not really ideal.
Okay, I disagree with mostly of everything you said. So let's go back to the beginning and work our way forward. The question, by the way, is this. With all the injuries they have, because Jordan Love's not the only one. You've got wide receivers out, Jaden Reed's in a walking boot, all that stuff. With all the injuries, would a slow start to the season be a big deal to the Packers? Remember, their first 2 games, Lions, Commanders. That's who you open the season against with Packer fans. So, if you're 0-2 all of a sudden start the season, because everybody, receivers, quarterback, and everybody else is trying to find their rhythm and get on the same page, and you're having mistakes and miscues and whatever, then maybe you're 0-2. And then is it freak out time? Because that's what it was for Brewers fans after they got crushed by the Yankees, freak out time. And that's, a 6-month season, like football, not as many games, but still a long season nonetheless. So how big of a deal would it be to you if they ended up with a slow start at the end of the day? Nicolay Law Fan Talk text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. You can chat with us on YouTube. That's right, streaming all of our local shows on YouTube Live. You can chat with us there. Also, you can check out our shorts, our recorded videos, all that fun stuff. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Always suggested by Charlie Uczen to share the YouTube video. So to follow his advice. He's pretty smart on this stuff. He knows what people like, and he knows what your friends and family would like as well.
I try.
Yeah, you do. You're really good about that. And you do it with a smile, too, which makes it all the better. All right, so Jordan Love, number 1. The reason why you have knuckleheads that are Packer fans that say, oh, he's injury prone, is because they were spoiled by Brett, right, who was hurt a bunch but played through everything. And even Rodgers, multiple collarbone breaks, everything else. There were people saying Rodgers was injury prone and that he couldn't stay on the field. Again, most of those people, older people that watch Brett, that now everybody in comparison to Brett is injury prone because they can't stay healthy. When in reality, most quarterbacks go through injuries throughout the course of a year. There's not a lot of guys that are going to be out there every single year for 17 games, not miss any snaps, and play all the way through. It's the NFL, man. It just doesn't happen a lot. Does it seem like he's been hurt quite a bit here these last 2 years? It does. Yes, I would agree with you, right? But that was another thing that I don't care who your trainers are, who your medical staff is. That was a freak play that happened in the course of a game. There was nothing he could have done different training-wise or otherwise to do anything with that. So, I don't think he's necessarily injury-prone necessarily at this point. Now, if we're talking about this the rest of the year and he's out again missing games, and then next year he's missing games, and now we're, a full 3 years in and he hasn't been able to stay healthy any of the years, then I think, we can revisit the conversation. I'm not there yet, only mainly because it's just the beginning of the season. He just got hit in the hand, did he not? It says it was the knob of the bat. It looked like it hit the hand to me. Right now, Contreras is up. I thought he got hit on the hand, but he didn't argue it.
It looked like the knob to me. I don't know. It's pretty close. His bat and his gloves look like the same color.
Well, either way, worked out better for the Brewers because Contreras just knocked one into the right field, down the right field line. Did it score 2? Yep. 8-5 Brewers now as they get some more separation right away. This is the Brewers, man, right? Oh, you think you're good? Oh, you're down one. Let us show you who really is the team. Here's 2 runs real quick to show you who's in charge. Just nuts. Anyways, this Packers thing. So that's my first take on Love. My second take on Love is this whole thing that you talked about, and I didn't hear Andy Herman talking about it. So, guys, they ran out of the shotgun a ton last year. They barely ever played under center. And in fact, it was a talking point of Packer fans a majority of the year of why aren't we running the ball from under center? Why are you continuing to try to run out of shotgun? The play action, you can disagree with me if you want, but play action out of shotgun versus play action from under center, to me, is not nearly as effective.
No, not even close to being as effective. But to your point, people complaining about it last year, the way that they ran the offense last year, haven't we been talking about all season how they want to be a more run-focused offense, how they want to be more run-first?
But that does not mean they're going to be under center more.
No, but it generally leads to that. Most teams that say they want to be run first, you are under center more because then the run plays hit the holes harder. That's what happens. It hits holes harder and faster. If you're running out of that shotgun, the plays develop so much more slower. And if you're having guys like Aaron Banks who's struggling already, if you're having guys like Jordan Morgan potentially playing out there who's been struggling part of the time throughout camp here, I mean, this could change a lot of things about how you want to run this offense.
Here's Charlie Uczen, see Sparky Fifer here with all the injuries. Would a slow start to the season be a big deal to the Packers? Nicolay Law Fan Talk text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Some of the other guys that are out, right? Jaden Reed with a foot injury. Xavier McKinney with a calf injury. Nate Hobbs, the new corner, with a knee injury. Dontavian Wicks with a calf injury. That is where the concern is, right? Because you're talking about 2 very pivotal wide receivers, especially if Watson's not going to be back until like week 6 or 7. 2 very pivotal wide receivers you have to have in Reed and Wicks, regardless of how many drops they had last year. That's just something you need to get done, right? So them not being out there, that's not good. Your best player on defense is probably Xavier McKinney, and he's not going to be out there maybe to the start of the season. And then Nate Hobbs is definitely out to at least the start of the season, and he's your newest, hopefully bestest cornerback that you have at this point.
It would be nice to have all these guys on the field, for sure. But also because you have these injuries, because you're noticing this, 0-2 would suck to start the season because you don't have these players.
Especially one is the division leader, probably the Lions, and the other is Washington that could be in contention with you for a seeding in the playoffs.
I'm going to say something from a guy that I'm not a big fan of, a quote that I've heard my entire life, and I hate, but Aaron Rodgers, REALAX, relax, baby.
Right, I agree. Yeah,
it's going to be okay.
I don't think 0-2 ruins their season or ends their season or anything like that. But, there is going to be a little bit of panic probably in the house here in Wisconsin if they start off losing to the Lions in Washington. Because you know what the narrative is going to be. The narrative is not going to be, hey, it's all right. The guys are finding their chemistry. They're trying to get back on the same page. A lot of these guys have been out. That's not going to be the narrative. The narrative is going to be, and Matt LaFleur still can't beat anybody good, and that is why they need to fire Matt LaFleur because he can't win any big games. That will be the narrative. there will be no excuses given to them trying to get back on the same page coming off of injury.
I kind of feel like that's going to be the narrative most situations. The only way it's not is if they go out there and destroy both the Lions and Washington with perfect offensive execution.
My point is, if they're 0-2, they're going to go after LaFleur regardless of the injury situation.
My point on that is if they win these games close at the end of the game, and it's because of a defensive play, people are going to question Matt LaFleur still. Doesn't matter.
You think so?
He's been questioned all offseason for the most part.
You're right, yes. Yeah.
NFL media, for only half of them really truly believe in this Packers team, and they keep saying that it's an extremely young team, that you should expect mistakes, but they're not going to have those mistakes. It's all just the players. Nobody talks about Matt LaFleur and how good of a coach he really is. And the moment he messes up, people love jumping down his throat. It's one of their favorite things to do. Brian Gutekunst, same thing. So unless you're blowing these two teams out, there's still going to be critics of Matt LaFleur out there. I don't really think it matters. Yeah, you don't want to lose these first two games, but also, if I'm Matt LaFleur, I'm not worried about it because this is the same stuff I've been hearing for the past 2 seasons.
It has been. Yeah, no, you're right about that. Charlie Uczen with you. Steve Sparky Fifer here as well.